So welcome to class. So this is going to start our series on kind of developing more foundational strength in the body. So we're going to work on strengthening really our whole foundational structures, being our feet, our legs, our hips, and how they connect to our core. In a sense of wanting to create a sense of rootedness and groundedness and stability. Since we can't control the environment, we can't control what's happening, we can certainly feel rooted in ourselves, right? And Taurus season's all about feeling embodied, feeling connected to our physical body centrally, so connecting into the senses, how we touch and how we can devise pleasure by being in our bodies. So it's a lot about simplicity, about slowing down, and a lot about enjoyment. So we're going to try and practice these themes through our classes. And today the moon's in Aries, and I don't know about you guys, but it's been like one of those days where it's like, you know, the energy wants to slow down, and that, like, sometimes that Aries cycle is just like we're still kind of spinning, and you might feel like in some ways you're spinning your wheels. I've also noticed it being kind of like a drawn towards like personal time and being able to have the space to get what you need. So we're going to start with kind of setting that maybe clear intention to give yourself this hour of personal space, right? To practice in a way that suits you, which means that you can give yourself full permission to do what you need to do, add props, take things out, add things to, rev it up if you need, right? So all those good things that we can do to let this practice be one in which serves our body for today. So whenever you're ready, find a comfortable place to sit. And we'll take some grounding, stabilizing breaths. So see if you can touch the earth at some point, whether it's just your hands forward as you breathe, or a hand on the heart, hand on your body, right? Some way of connecting into the physical. And take 5 deep breaths. So imagine yourself unplugging from anywhere your energy might still be. If you've been working today, if you've been outside, if you've been in conversation, if you have something to do after class, like really unplug yourself so that this gets to be just about you. Couple more breaths. And then when you feel ready, open your eyes, and we're going to come onto our backs to start. So if you have your hair up in a ponytail, you might loosen that so that you can have your head flat on the floor. We're just going to do a little bit of mobility work to kind of open up through the hips. So finding that core stability, you're going to bend your right knee, extend it out, and it hovers a bit, and you're going to bring it up. And you're going to lower it down. Bring the knee in, press the leg out, lengthening, bring it up, bring it down. And this can be fast or slow. Trying to keep the pelvis somewhat stable, right? So I'm using that left foot to press down into the mat. And this is just going to be a gentle hamstring stretch. So I don't have to go too far forward, but it's active, right? I'm not using my hands or a strap, so it doesn't matter how high my foot is. Do wake up your feet. So whether that's for you as a point, a flex, or somewhere in between, make sure you wake up your feet. So today we're going to focus on connecting the hip energy to the feet. And you might think, why would we want to do that? We'll do one more of these and then we'll switch. Because when we can connect the hips to the feet, we can connect that sense of stability into the earth, right? So that we can take energy up out of the earth. And we can also dissipate energy from the hips, right? So we're going to work with our feet in 2 different ways, grounding and then pulling energy up. And what you might find with that is there's a little bit more ease in the postures, a little bit less work, but also a better sense of stability. So we'll work through that in the shapes today. We'll do a few more of these. Again, I'm going pretty fast. You could slow it down, making sure you wake up those feet. And then last one. Nice, and then we're gonna bring those knees up, and then we're gonna take the legs up to the sky. So I'm just gonna open one leg and then bring it back in. Second side, and again, I'm doing this with the work of my hips staying stable, so if I need to bend one leg, as I do that, because that's a little bit better for my body, I can certainly do that. Open and closing. So a little bit of inner thigh work here. And again, it's not going to be too big. We're going to do one more on each side after this. So again, you might have to go a little slower to ensure your core can stabilize. Nice. Then from here, we're going to drop the right leg down. And then we're going to twist tie the legs and twist a bit. So you get a little bit lateral hip stretch. Bring the right leg up. Lower the left leg down. Twist tie the legs together. And then bring them apart. You're going to keep doing that. Leg down. Twist tie the legs. Come back up. Second side. Twist tie the legs. Keep breathing. Make sure you don't hold your breath. We're going to do one more side. So drop the right one more time. And then drop the left one more time. And then go ahead and drop the feet all the way to the floor. Okay? So last time we practiced, if you were with me on Saturday, we practiced lifting the heels, lifting the toes to try to feel the difference between the ball mound and the heels. Now I want you to lift up into bridge, and I want you to feel the difference between inner thighs and outer hips. So I want you to find that big toe line of the foot. That's the inner arch. And I want you to really press that into the mat with your bridge. So you should feel the inner thighs eliminate here. So just holding your bridge, feeling that. And now roll the weight to the outer edge of the foot so that you're not moving your thigh bones, you're just allowing the weight to distribute. Now you should feel the outer hips slide up. Just kind of feel that for a moment. And then go back and forth. Inner thighs, outer hips. Inner thighs, outer hips. And you're just going to see my feet move a little bit as I'm shifting the weight. Over time, I can do this without moving my feet, putting my imagination or my imagery or my awareness, all those ways work, into feeling that. So kind of drawing energy down through my big toe line from my upper thigh, and then placing that awareness in my outer hips and moving down. So just kind of see what you can do with that for another couple breaths. Otherwise, you're moving the feet so you can feel that transition into the hips. Okay, second thing we're going to do is we're just going to move the right leg. I'm going to roll to the outer edge of the foot, and I'm going to roll to the inner edge. So I probably have to walk the right foot out. So I'm doing a windshield wiper just with my right leg, and my left hip is stable. So I'm using my core, and I'm going to feel my glute on the left really work. If this is too much, set your hips down and just do this work keeping the left foot down. So I'm just rolling outer edge, inner edge. Let's do that one more time. And then reset. So you might need a breath or two to kind of stretch and move your hips around. And we'll do the second side. So again, I'm going to walk that left foot a little further out, stabilizing with my right. So I want to feel a balanced press to the inner heel and the outer. And then with that left leg, I'm turning it in, turning it out. So I'm rotating the thigh and the socket of my hip. Using my core, relaxing my shoulders. This is just some stability work for the core and mobility work for the hips. So similar to what you did on your back a moment ago, just a little bit different variation. Keep breathing. Make sure your jaw stays nice and relaxed, especially the neck. We'll do a few more of that. Yeah. And then come back in, lower the hips, take the legs up, and then take the legs wide for a straddle stretch. So I'm going to hold on to my inner thighs, point and flex the feet and roll the ankles. So wake up those feet in this shape. Then as you kind of press through that inner arch of your foot, can you feel your inner arch lengthen away from the inner thigh? So really feeling that stretch go from your inner hip, my inner groin, to the inside of my knee, to the inside of my calf, to the inside of my arch. So really try to draw that line with your awareness. Take another breath in and out. And then using those muscles, bring the legs in, and then draw those knees into your chest. You can make a little circle here, just ironing up the low back. And then when you're ready, we're going to roll up to a seat and then come into all fours. Gonna wake up the feet a bit, so tuck the toes under. Just kind of feel that foot stretch here. And again, you could rock back a bit to feel that stretch, or you could come up to standing on your knees and sit back. I just want you to feel a stretch at the bottom of your feet. So however that works for you. Sometimes the hands forward can provide a little bit of a release if it's too much. Just take a couple breaths to breathe. Sometimes my baby toe doesn't seem to stay, so I have to kind of tuck it under myself. And I'll come forward and come to the top of the feet, and you can lean back and then you can lift a thigh. Sometimes that gives you a deeper foot stretch, or you can just allow yourself to sit back on the tops of your feet, and that could be enough. One more option is to come and lift the knees and to feel that stretch. Just want you to feel. And then when you're ready, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Pedal those legs. And then in downward facing dog, come into some stillness when you're ready. And I want you to feel a rooting down from those inner thigh muscles to your inner knees, to your inner ankles. Can you really feel that kind of ground from that inner pelvis to the inner seams? And then can you feel a slight lift up from the outer seams of your feet to the outer knees to the outer hips? So that's the energy we'll work with. We're going to ground through the inner seams and lift through the outer seams. So just kind of notice what that does to your down dog. And if you can't feel that muscularly in your body, just allow your awareness to draw that line. And that will start to create those neural pathways to create that sensation eventually. So just imagine that it's happening, and if you don't feel anything at all. Okay, one more breath. And then walk your feet forward nice and slow. If you do have a block, pick one up. Go ahead and come up to standing. And if you don't have one, a pillow would work just fine. All right, you guys. So I have the block between my legs just to allow a little bit more of a connection to the inner thigh line. So that as I squeeze the block and I draw that energy down to that inner thigh line, to my inner arch, I can really feel that ground. Now, as I do that, I might feel the weight in my outer arches kind of dissipate. Because I was saying lift up, but you don't want it to lift up so you can't feel it. So I want you to find a balance. So pressing your feet apart slightly might help you feel both. The rooting down and the pressing apart, but also then again that energy of the outer seam lifting. And again, don't worry if this is too much and you're like, I'm not feeling any of that, doesn't matter. And now again, let your weight shift laterally, that side to side. So I am moving my hips just so I can kind of feel that transition of weight. And then somehow, somewhere, you'll find a little bit of slowness and try to find a little bit of balance in between those two. So you have equal weight between thigh bones, maybe equal weight between inner and outer arch. Reach your arms up, find your core. So if you need to have your hands at your heart or your waist, because that gives you a little bit more strength, go ahead and lift your heels up. Go ahead and send your knees forward. Keeping that inner thigh awake, the inner thigh energy awake, I should say, heels down. Lift your toes. And then press the toes down, straighten the legs. Lift the heels up. Send the knees forward. And again, you might want a wall space for this. And the heels come back. You're going to hinge a little bit, toes lift up. And then straighten the legs, toes come down. 2 more times. Heels lift up. So maybe you challenge yourself and you add your arms. It's okay if you don't. Knees go forward. Heels go down, toes come up. And then toes come down, coming to stand. And then one more time. Heels lift, arms up. Knees come forward. Heels come back, toes lift. And then straightening the legs, toes come down. And again, try to find that balanced energy between inner and outer arch, then a slight more grounding through the inner, more lift out of the outer. And just, again, you're just doing your best. Arms reach up, stretch. And then exhaling, forward fold. You can take that block away and place it at the side of your mat if you happen to have 2 of them, because we're going to use these as we go through our flow. So just find a comfortable stance at the top of your mat, whatever that looks like for you. On the inhale, the arms will stretch up. On the exhale, fold. Long spine inhale. Step on back with your right leg to a lunge. And we're going to tuck the toe under, and we're going to come up just to our fingertips. So I want you to get a nice lift to that back heel, right? So my hands can certainly be on blocks here. So again, from that inner right thigh, can you reach through your right big toe mount so that you get that length to that inner thigh line? And then lengthen your spine as much as you can. Take a couple breaths here. With your front leg, same thing, rooting through your big toe line of your foot, lifting a little bit of that outer foot. But I haven't changed how much weight. I haven't leaned to my inner arch, right? I'm just sending the weight that way. Take another deep breath. And then as you're ready, place the right knee down, untuck the toes, and lift up. Arms stretch up. Stretching again from the top of the foot to let the hips descend and stretch back to that big toe line of your foot. Another deep breath. And as you exhale, you have some choices. So one choice is to lift the back knee and allowing yourself to kind of lengthen your chest. Some of you can bring your hands to your thighs. That's one option, right? Another option is to tuck the toes, bring that knee way down, and you can still get a quad stretch, but you're gonna kind of allow the hip to hang a bit, so it's really heavy. We're gonna take 5 breaths, whatever you've chosen. And it can also just be letting the hips go forward, top of the foot. 3 more breaths. Nice work, you guys. Tuck your toes under if they're not already. Take a quarter turn to your right for a wide leg forward fold. So I have my big toes facing forward, and you can go any style you want. Arms forward, arms back. Allowing, again, that rooting through the inner seams of your legs to that inner arch, and then a slight lifting of the outer arch without letting the weight dissipate. So again, I'll keep saying that. And again, you'll have to play with, as soon as we over-exaggerate and we're learning something, that's totally fine. And then coming up to your handprint or a block, your left hand comes down, your right hand comes to your waist, and you're gonna twist to the right. You're gonna lift the spine, feel again that left hip, stay rooted. So sometimes the left hip wants to come with us, so keep the left hip. It can turn a little bit, but trying to keep stable through that left leg. Take another deep breath. And as you're ready, release the hands down, turn back towards the front of your mat, and then come to downward facing dog. Take a moment or two, and then come forward to plank pose. Nice, strong plank. Come to the top of your right foot, get a little stretch. Lift your chest. And then retuck the right toes. Come to the top of your left foot, give it a little stretch to lift the chest. Tuck both toes under, come forward, bend your knees, and bring your heels to your rear without your hips coming forward. So keep really strong forward here. Baby push up, straighten your legs, and then you might lift the knees or you may not, and just straighten those arms. So give you a modified upward dog. Then tuck your toes under again, let your hips come back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in and out, try to again ground through the inner edges of your feet. Slight lift through the outer edges. And then walk your feet forward nice and slowly. Come to a long spine inhale. And just for a moment, so we're gonna stay somewhat halfway up. So I'm not gonna be completely folded over. I wanna be like 45 degrees. Now I'm gonna bend my right knee just a bit, and I'm gonna let my left toes come back. And I'm gonna lift, and I'm gonna bring it forward. And I'm gonna lift, and I'm gonna bring it forward and up. So I'm in a little bit of a squat. Now here's where it's tricky. I can let all the weight come to my big toe side and forget about my outer foot, so I'll have to regulate that. And then if I can balance it, I'll try to do that same work I was doing. Grounding through inner edge, lifting through outer. You have 2 more. Really strong through your core. And then just come to standing. Bring that leg forward. Arms stretch up, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Long spine inhale. We're going to step back with the left leg and come to that lunge. Again, it could be on blocks. So I'm going to get high on that left heel. So that left heel is right over that big toe, the bone of my big toe. Then I'm going to allow myself to stretch out to that inner thigh line, lengthen my spine. Doing the same work of grounding through the right big toe side. And again, first it might be for you just balancing the weight. That could be the first step into this using the hips and the feet to connect to one another. It might just be that the weight becomes even before you can do the second part. One more breath. We're going to put the knee down, untuck the toes, rise up, low lunge. Letting that reach happen from inner thigh line. And again, the reach can happen through physically feeling that. It could also just be tracing that line with your mind. Just kind of imagining that line from the inner thigh to the inner knee to the inner ankle. Take another deep breath. Then hands come down. These are where you have those options. I can lift my knee. I could come up a little higher. And the third option is a different, totally different option, but it still gets the quad. My knee goes way down, and I climb up, more strength, and I let this left hip just kind of release. And I'm feeling a lot through my standing leg. So you have 3 more breaths. Choose whatever works for you. And then let the knee come down, untuck, take a quarter turn to your left. Parallel your big toes. So sometimes here we'll have the toes out, or we'll kind of put the toes in. Do try to be neutral. If you need to widen your feet or narrow your feet, come on down. And again, try to balance the weight distribution first between inner and outer. And then you might be able to go a little further and feel the difference in how you're sending your energy down into the earth, dissipating, and then drawing earth energy in. Come to your right palm or the right tented palm or a block, left hand to the waist twist. So you might exaggerate and let the hips go way to the left and see what that feels like. And then kind of find that tipping point, right? Where it still feels like you're grounded to the right leg, but you're also letting your hips feel a little bit more fluid. Breath in and out. Then releasing your hands down, turn towards the front of your mat, downward facing dog. When you're ready, plank pose. Rock on back, so push your hands forward to feel a stretch through your calves. And just hold there. Come back forward, drop to your knees, bring your heels to your rear, point your toes vigorously, and then exhale, baby chaturanga. Maybe you straighten the legs and the arms, maybe the knees come off the ground, they could also stay bent. Then as you're ready, knees down, hips shift back, tuck toes, downward facing dog. And then nice and slowly walk your feet to your hands, really taking time to walk. And then long spine, come up a little bit further, and then again, I'm gonna bend my left knee just a bit. So first, before you even move your right leg, can you find, again, inner and outer arch? Then when I'm ready, the right leg is gonna lift up and then come forward. Lift up and then come forward. And I'm gonna really feel this left hip working quite vigorously. I'm gonna do my best to first balance the weight of my left leg, keeping my core lifting so I'm not too heavy on my pelvis. The more active your feet are, the more you'll continue to translate energy from the feet to the hips and the hips to the feet. One more. Then as you come forward, stand up. Nice, shake it out. That can be intense. Arms sweep up. On the exhale, forward fold. Long spine. Set back with your right leg, knee down. Grab your 2 blocks if you'd like to, but we're gonna straighten the left leg. If you don't have blocks, hands can go at your waist. So the same work of reaching through my left inner thigh line. As much as you can, imagine that inner thigh line got long, pulling back to the outer left hip. So some of you will stay upright. If you want to hinge and fold, you certainly can. Notice what's happening through your right thigh. So try not to let it slouch to the right, staying really strong and stable through your hips. Take another couple deep breaths. Then as you're ready, I'm going to turn for a moment. Stay where you are. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take come up, and then we're going to kickstand the right heel towards the right knee and straighten your left leg. So I just kind of changed the orientation of the pose. So if I were to line up my knee, it would be a little bit ahead of my ankle, and my toe is up. Some of you will need something underneath that knee, or you can just keep a soft knee so you don't overextend. So do let the right hip come forward. Take your right arm up, stretch long, and then as you're ready, just send down. So I like something to have my hand Once again, reach that left inner thigh line. Pull up and back to that outer left foot line. Big breath as you reach into your side body. Once again, what's happening with this right hip? I'm still strong and lifted. And then as you're ready, we're going to slowly come up. If you need something underneath your right arm, go ahead and grab that. And if you need to adjust your right knee. So first, just take a big stretch, left arm up and over. And then again, making sure that this palm and shoulder, they don't have to be in a line, but just kind of having a firm foundation. Lift your left leg up, reach it all back. Oh, I just lost it. And take a thigh stretch. So I'm grabbing the outer foot with my thumb forward. Breathing in and breathing out. And then as you're ready, letting the foot come down, both hands come down, plank pose. Trying to find, again, that inner arch, the outer arch, doing all that good work of visualization and trying to connect your body to it. Come forward, bend the knees, heels to your rear, chaturanga. Transitioning as you're ready to upward dog. Yeah. And then knees down if you want to, hip hinge, downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. Taking that right leg and lifting it up, and then bring it forward to hover. Same thing we did before. Up, taking it forward. Up. Just a little bit more challenging in down dog. I have to really use my core. One more. Nice. And then take that right leg all the way forward. Drop to your right knee, straighten your right leg again. Now we're going to hip hinge to twist. So I'm going to take maybe a hand to a block, and I'm going to turn and twist to the right. So I'm going to hug the right outer hip back of it, firm this left hip, reaching through that right inner thigh line. So I may not need the block. And then as you're ready, peel that foot down, come into a low lunge, and then step and fold forward. Hands to the heart, and all the way up to standing. Inhale, and then as you're exhaling, hands to the heart. Okay, second side. Inhale, those arms come up. On the exhale, fold forward. Long spine, and we're going to step back with the left leg. This is the same leg we just twisted, but first we're going to stretch. So again, I'm going to set it up how I need to. It could be slightly wider. Pulling back, reaching through that inner left, that inner right, inner seam. And again, this is where blocks can be handy, or hands on shins or the floor. So really trying to reach through my inner pelvis. So this area can be really shortened sometimes if we have tight groins. So we're just trying to release that energy. Take another deep breath. Then I'm going to slowly come up, and I'm going to reorient. So I'm going to kickstand the left toes so it's diagonal, or a straight line with my knee, and then my right foot comes out. So there's no graceful way to do it, so I'm just kind of readjusting. Then again, I will turn my hips kind of 45 degrees a bit so that the right hip goes under and the left hip's on top. So I have like a diagonal here. Left arm up, and then I'm stretching over to the right. Then I'm going to breathe and do my best to really release to this whole left side chain. So I'm using a block. If you don't have one, you can have your hand at your shin and you can lift up. As you're ready, releasing. And so my left hand comes down first, just the stretch. So I'm sealing my foot flat. And then as I'm ready, I'm going to lift up and grab that bind of the foot. Stretching out the frontal hip. Breathing in, breathing out. Then as you're ready, we're going to transition down. So I'm going to lift up. Then I'm going to come back forward. And then I'm going to come to downward facing dog. Coming forward, plank. Take your time. You can always skip this. Knees down, heels back. Really pull them with the heels so you can feel your hamstrings tone. Chaturanga, showing your knees down. That way it's less demand on the low back. Hips down, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Okay, the left side. So again, firm up the shoulders, find your core, left leg lifts, and go higher on my right toes to give myself more space. Because I will kind of touch the mat if I don't flex those left toes pretty good. Few more. Stabilizing through the hips. And then as I'm ready, stepping the left leg forward, straightening it one more time for a twist. So the hips are never really square, right? I still have a little bit of a turnout, just not overload this left thigh bone where it meets the socket of my hip. But I'm not, again, but I'm not way turned. So you just need to kind of feel that one out. Then I'm gonna twist. I'm gonna fold in, maybe hand to block or the floor, and then twist. And it could be hand at the small of my back. Breathing in and breathing out. Can you again reach that inner thigh line? Pull energy up and into your pelvis through the outer hip line. And as you're ready, come on in. Step and fold. And then finding out your chair, or finding your chair. And then all the way up to standing. Then hands to the heart. Okay, before we move on, if you have blocks for this, this is awesome. Don't worry if you don't. You can, again, find more of that 45-degree angle. It just means it's less demand, right? So we're gonna take, I'm gonna take my hands to the blocks just to show you. So at first, all I want you to do is just come to your fingertips and lift up and lift down. I want you to kind of feel how your core can support lifting you off of your pelvis a bit. So as your hands come down, you weight the blocks, you might feel pretty heavy on the pelvis. And as you come to the fingertips and lift off, I want you to feel that it's the core that's lifting you up. Just do this a few times to get the feel of using the core to lighten the pelvis. And then lift up and hold. Once again, find inner and outer edges of your feet. Balance them out as much as you can. So from here, we're gonna take that leg out and we're gonna do a little squat and it's gonna go wide. Then we're gonna take it out. We're gonna take it back in a little squat. So if I'm doing this 45 degrees, this is all I'm doing. I'm kind of in a C squat, taking the leg out. And I can straighten the leg all the way if I need a breather. Just touching the ball mound, coming up. 3 more times, facing you so you can see a little better. If I have the blocks, then I'm here. Trying not to push into the blocks, but more lifting away. Just gives me support. 1 more. And then legs down, shake it out. Arms reach up, so take a big stretch first, and then exhale, hands to the heart. Just pause, notice your hips. And as you're ready, we're gonna come all the way down again. So you'll decide if I'm gonna stay 45 degrees and taking the leg out, and then that, again, that little curtsy and come out. I want you to feel the inner thighs as I do this. So I do want you to feel that kind of drawing in and then out. Otherwise, I'm on the wrist, and I'm doing hip work here. There's just like 8 of them that we're doing, not a ton. I want you to feel inner thigh, outer hip. So we're just working that whole circumference of the hip. We've been working front and back. So now we're working a little bit of the side. And I want you to really focus on, if you can, finding inner and outer arch of your standing foot as well as the moving leg. So if you can't do both at the same time, pick the one that you can identify with best. And as you're ready, switching all the way up. Hands to the heart. Okay, let's put it together. Come to the top of your mat. On inhale, the arms stretch. Exhale, forward fold. Long spine. Can you get light on your pelvis here? Exhale, fold. Step on back to plank pose. However you need to get there. Shift forward. Maybe you're not going to add the knees for this, but you certainly can. Chaturanga to upward dog. Connecting to your feet here. So again, the feet are so active in upward dog to take pressure out of the lumbar spine. Then as you're ready, downward facing dog. Let's take the right leg forward. And then we're going to bring our hands to our heart. And we're going to take that left leg up for a warrior 3. So I'm going to bend the knee at first and try to, again, adjust the weight distribution. Inner foot, outer foot, turning the pelvis a bit to the left and then straightening the leg. and lengthening the torso. So here's a tip. If this is a challenging pose for you, find a wall with your hands. So I can move a little further here. Then I have a wall space to really work the lengthening here of my body, as well as I can really work inner and outer foot. So notice for you, where do you tend to lie? Is there more weight in the inner or the outer? Try first to equalize, and then root through the inner, lift through the outer. Take another breath. And then go ahead and drop this left foot back, widen your stance a bit. So I am not square hips. And depending on your body, you could be further apart, closer, wider. There's no, I wish there was a better rule of thumb. I want you to be able to feel both feet, inner and outer arch. As you're ready, the arms come up and just tip forward. So we're not going to go fully into this shape. I want you to feel the lift of your spine. And again, little translation of pelvis to the left to not overburden the right thigh. If your arms need to go out or back, please do that. Take another deep breath. And then as you're ready, releasing on down, this time standing split. So the arms go all the way to the floor. Or the blocks. Now vigorously reach that inner thigh line of your flying leg. And that's going to help engage that left hip. Do the same work in your standing leg. And then step on back, and we're going to be in triangle pose. So we're going to be warrior two with straight legs. So as the arms come out, I'll have you look towards your back leg and flip your back palm up. Allow the hips to travel back. That left hip will travel forward a bit, and then hinge into triangle, keeping your neck soft if you're going to look up. If you'd like to look down, now you can turn and look down. So we're going to be here for a moment, enough time that you can feel, do I have weight in the inner and the outer arches of both feet? So kind of do that own investigation for yourself. And then when you get that, and if that feels good, then maybe you'll work on grounding from your pelvis. So send energy from your pelvis through your inner thigh line to ground. Think about this dissipating, stressful or pent up or tight energy that wants to hold. And then feel a little lift to the outer seam that you can take in some energy. Notice if anything is a little easier. Take another deep breath. And then whatever type of lateral stretch you want to do. So that could be a straight leg, tipping up and back. It could be a reverse warrior if you want to lunge. I like to look down for this one. You could even do a neck release. Hand down, head down. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, friends, both arms up, both legs straight, and arms reach up. And then hands to the heart, hinge forward. That same lightness in the pelvis. We're going to take the left arm down and the right arm out, and then twist. Trying to balance out the weight in those legs. Breathing in, breathing out. We're going to continue twisting as the arms come down, though we're going to turn to face that right leg. Come into that lunge first. So lunge first. And I'm going to take my left hand to the floor. If I had a block, that'd be a super way to do this. And I'm going to twist first with the torso and then straighten the right leg. So I'm really, again, balancing out the way of that front leg, as well as the back leg, lifting that back heel really high. And just noticing with that weight distribution of your legs, do you feel anything lighter in the pelvis? Does it feel more supported? And if you can't, keep working with that energy. So you can maybe feel a little lightness in the pelvis as it lifts up, and a little bit of rooting down to make it a little bit more stable. Take another big breath. And as you're ready, hands down. We'll come back to plank. If you'd like a vinyasa flow, take it, that plank chaturanga. You can also just enjoy this. Cat-cow, child's pose, sitting on your heels, okay? We're going to come to downward facing dog when we're ready. Okay, we're going to hop or step forward top of the mat. Long spine, again, get light on that pelvis, and then all the way up to standing. Hands to the heart. Okay, we're gonna go final side, then we're gonna put it all together with this balance pose. Arms are gonna reach up, stretch. Exhale to forward fold. Long spine. Step on back to your down dog or your plank if you want to go through a flow. Again, I'm giving you options because not everyone likes that and needs that. So it could just be working your plank pose, working those feet. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to step the left leg forward. Come to that lunge that we started with. So that back heel is lifted. I bring my hands up. Again, I'm going to turn the pelvis, root the legs, do all this work before I'm airborne, and then come into your warrior three. Remember, the tip was that if you'd like to grab a wall space for your hands so that you could possibly really work on lengthening and maybe lowering the torso a little lower. Even your foot on a wall can work. Take another big breath. And then go ahead and bend the front knee and land the back leg. And this is where, again, we'll have to make adjustments. So you can play with your stance over time if you're feeling like, I can only feel my inner edge. Maybe you need to have a closer stride, a back and front foot. If it's not wide enough, you might feel a little pull in the lumbar. So just kind of keep playing with it. Generally, one indication is shoulders over ankles. That's kind of one indication, but most of the time it's a felt sense. Take your arms up, find your core, find those feet. So balancing out your arches. Notice if that can make you feel really rooted. And then hinging forward. If your arms need to do something different, find something different. And so you might just play around with it. Now that you've found your feet, there might be new ways to kind of move your hips or feel more supported. So find that. And then as you're ready, we're going to bend that knee and come on forward, standing splits. So I'm going to connect to the inner thigh line of my floating leg and reach it out. It's going to help kind of maybe lift me off my left thigh bone. Then balancing the weight of my inner and outer arches of my standing leg. Maybe lifting the energy of my outer foot a bit. And stepping on back with your right leg for triangle pose. Straight arms. Turn your back palm up. Look towards your back palm. Then let your hips move back in space. So you'll lighten this front leg. And as I'm ready, I'm going to keep lengthening the bottom arm. Maybe I stay lifting up, and maybe I look down. This should just provide a little bit more ease for the neck. And I'm going to work, again, the feet here. So we all have our tendencies, right? We might really easily find one part of the foot and not the other. Kind of the same work with heels and ball mount, but we're not going to work that specifically today. It's like too many things to think about, right? You can only think about so many. A couple more breaths to really find those feet, find your core. Then as you're ready, tip up and back. Remember, I could bend the knee and do a neck release if I prefer. Just a side body stretch. And then as I'm ready, the head comes up, the arms come up. I turn towards that wide angle fold. And I might need to bend the knees, but I'm going to hip hinge and come down. And then again, I'm going to tempt the right palm. I could also use a block, left arm out to the left. This is so that I can twist my core and up my shoulders. And then I'm going to allow myself to twist, totally fine if my arm's not vertical. Work with the feet to stabilize your twist. And then we're going to release the arm. We'll continue to work this twist as we come forward. First in a lunge. So find that original lunge that we did. Block if you need it. Twist. And when you feel strong, straighten and push away from your straight front leg. Find again the feet. Heel in the back leg is lifted and strong. Inner and outer arches first get balanced. And then I try to root through my inner arch, lift through my outer arch without losing that weight distribution. Letting energy go, receiving energy out. And then as I'm ready, releasing it down. Relax. Go through a final flow if you'd like, or downward facing dog works too, or cat-cow or anything else. And then as you're ready, hop or step forward, top of your mat. Long spine. And then all the way up to standing. And here is where you will need a strap. I'll give you the option if you don't have a strap today, you know that for this shape, you're gonna want it, but I'd like you to use a wall space, so I will just put my leg on the wall, and I'll walk you through how I would transition this, okay? We're gonna stand on our right leg. So if I had a strap, I'm gonna lasso right above the heel, and I'm gonna hold on to this. This is just to help me so I don't have to struggle. I could also put my foot on a chair. Okay, so the first pose we go is here. And I'm gonna do that same work. We're gonna go out to the side, and then we're gonna twist. So that's, I'm gonna show you this really fast, don't do it yet. If I'm doing this at the wall, I'm gonna go here. As I turn, I'm gonna turn my foot out, and then I'm gonna be here. So I'll be more angled at an angle, right? Because again, I want my hip points facing the same way. And then for the twist, I'll come back to facing forward, and I can twist. So wall space still allows you to work standing leg and floating leg. All right, so shake it out when you're ready. Some of you may not even need a strap. Right leg is your base. Before you straighten the leg, can you even out the weight distribution between inner and outer arch? And when you feel ready, extend that leg. Find your core so that you lighten up the pelvis. Maybe like 3 or 4 breaths. And then when you're ready, we keep the pelvis somewhat stable as we move the leg. And it's totally fine for the leg to be lowered or to be bent. Same work. What's happening with your arches? So I'm showing you a bent knee. And then when you're ready, take the leg back center, twist your torso without moving your hips. So we go right at the midline. And then as you're ready, come back to the center, bend the knee, lower the strap, shake it out. Hopefully that felt okay. And hopefully you guys are noticing a difference as you really pay attention to your feet. A lot's going on in the hip and the thighs, and we can forget about the feet, but the feet are so important, right, in these shapes. Left leg will be your base. I'm going to show you at the wall this time. I'm going to place the right foot at the wall. And if I'm using the wall, my left toes will turn out a bit just because of what I'm doing at the wall, so it's totally fine. Reach your arms up. Balancing the weight between inner and outer. Lengthening through my big toe side of my floating leg. Reaching towards my hip from the outer toe side. Then I'm going to turn my left leg left for the second shape. So this side is externally rotated and a little bit wider. Then I'm going to turn this foot back in a bit and twist. It's okay if you had to take breaks in between. It's a really challenging shape. And then last breath before you bend the knee, and come on down. Awesome work, you guys. We're just gonna flush all that out with a couple rounds of Surinamaskar with some quad opening and lunges, okay? Then we're gonna come onto our back and stretch it out. Arms are gonna reach up. On the exhale, fold forward. Long spine. Step your right leg back, come to any lunge that you want. High lunge, low lunge. Just for a breath or two, no rush. But as you're ready, hands down, you can cat-cow. You can go through a vinyasa flow. You're gonna meet me in downward facing dog. Either knees down or step your right leg forward, lunge. Any way you want. Exhaling, hands down, step or come forward. Long spine, fold again. Arms all the way up. And then exhale, hands to the heart. Last time down, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Long spine. Step back with your left leg, lunge of any kind. High lunge, low lunge, hands down lunge. Exhaling. I'm going to do cat-cow. You can do a vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. The left leg will step forward. You can put your knees down and then step your left leg forward, right? All those are good ways to support our bodies. Then as you're ready, hands down. You can just all step back to all fours. We'll all do either one final vinyasa or a cat-cow before sitting back into child's pose. So take your time. Okay, so we're gonna head on to our backs. So if you had a block handy or a way to prop your pelvis, great, but I'm just gonna show this to you without it in case you don't have it. So hopefully you'll be able to see this okay. Shout out if you can't. Loosen your hair tie if you have it. So we're gonna do a quad stretch and bridge. So this is where if I had a block, I'll work a lot less hard. So I'm gonna lift my pelvis up and place it on a block. Then I'm gonna come either to that, again, that high heel like I had before, and I can hold on to my foot. I'll bring my foot back as far as I can, and I'll maybe come to the top edge of the foot. It's pretty intense for me, so sometimes I can't come all the way down. So this is on a block. If I don't have a block, I can use my right hand under my hip. It oftentimes doesn't work, so you might just be stuck tucking the toe under, bring your foot back as far as possible and releasing there. Don't worry, we'll have another one in case this doesn't work for you. So it's also a foot stretch. So do what you can to connect to the foot as well as the thigh and feeling their relationship. Relax your jaw and your neck. And then let this go. We'll come down if you don't have a block. If you do, you can stay up and switch legs. When you're ready, lift your hips up. It takes me a couple times, and I actually have to manually bring my foot back if I don't have a block. And again, my knees kind of up higher than my hips, so you might be like, well, I'm not getting much of a stretch. I just allow that thigh to get heavy. So I might get more of a foot stretch than a quad stretch. Just might be where I'm at. And that's good too. One more breath. Then allow that foot to come down and then rest your hips down. So if you have that block, go ahead and take it away. On your back, you're going to bring your knees up. So just watch with the left leg. I'm going to rotate it out to the side so that my right heel is in front of my left ankle. Then I'm going to drop this whole thing down. So I could stay just like this, and I'm on the lateral side of my left foot. Or with my right hand, I'll grab the big toe of my left foot and let that thigh open. So my right foot and thigh are like in a bridge. And I'm on kind of the outer left hip, outer left thigh, outer left foot of my left. Some people like to take their left arm over their head, and that gives them a nice kind of side body. Really letting this left leg just release. Let exhales come out through your mouth if you want. One more big breath. So if you have your foot in your hand, let go of it. Use your core strength to bring the legs up. Unbind them. Switch. Right thigh turns out to the right. The front of my right ankle is behind my left heel. Then I just place the whole thing down on the floor. And I could do this without using hands because my ankle kind of acts as kind of like a stop to keep my right ankle from moving forward. Then my left hand could grab the big toe side of that foot and relax. Maybe right arm up and back. One more breath. Maybe two. And then when you feel ready, we'll bring that whole unit up. And then grabbing the front of the ankles, letting your thighs open to the sides. And as you're ready, bringing the knees back together and then down. You can widen your feet as wide as the mat and let your knees rock to the right. Open your arms and look to the left. If you'd like to figure four your right ankle over your left thigh, you're welcome to do that. If you want a little extra, it kind of lets the ankle act as like a weight to pull that left hip down. You can also just reach through your left hip and it does the same thing. And go to the other side. Look to the right if that feels good. Your left ankle could form that figure four, or you could just really reach to that right thigh. And come to the center. Bring your legs up one final time, kind of wiggle through your feet, through your fingers. Roll the ankles. Then find a comfortable position to lie on your back. If you prefer to sit up in seated meditation, you could do that as well. And let yourself relax. And take in your practice. Letting yourself listen to whatever sounds you can hear in your room, my voice. Looking at what you can see with your eyes softly open or closed. Just kind of noticing if you see colors with your eyes closed or how dark the blackness is with your eyes closed. Take in any smells that you can in your room. Notice how your clothing feels on your body or how the mat feels underneath you. Notice any taste in your mouth. And take a couple breaths to take in the full experience of being in your body right now. Let the final breaths of our practice together be one of which unplugging again from the outside world, from obligations of expectations that are externally driven. And plugging yourself into your own internal experience. And then wherever you are, you can be doing this on your back, or if you want to sit up, tap your head, top of your head, tap your heart. Keep tapping your heart and tap between your eyes, right there, the third eye. Tap your belly while you continue tapping your heart. And then tap your sacrum, or like the coccyx. You can go that low and tap your heart. And then both hands to your heart. Take a deep breath in. And a big breath out. Come up as slow as you want. Hopefully you feel more connected to your roots through your feet. Hopefully you feel more grounded by really connecting to your body through the last hour, through your awareness and presence, even through trying to move weight from inner to outer, or for connecting to that, right? That could still be a way in which we put our mind and our body, right, in the same place. So celebrate whatever connection you made with that. Thanks for practicing, friends. Namaste.